Recently, this post came up on my timeline and it was from Cointelegraph and it said new Google search interest for Bitcoin is now at the same level as when Bitcoin was priced around $16,000. Now, this is very interesting to me because when we really think about where we are at right now, cyclical wise, it feels very, very similar to the roughly October, November timeframe of 2020. And I truly do think that we are getting very close to a much larger breakout across the board for crypto. Obviously, right now, there's a lot of fear headlines and there's a lot of talks about a potential crash and this and that. And these are the types of things that we also heard right around the time where altcoins were selling off against Bitcoin and Bitcoin was just kind of chopping. And then all of a sudden came the end of, December into January of 2021 and everything just changed. Today, we obviously know from Google searches and trend history that retail just isn't focused. And I even said this. I said, in other words, retail is not focused on crypto at all, even though we are hovering around all-time highs. And the same goes for XRP. Like when we think about XRP, today XRP is trading around $2, right? And the interest on XRP over the last 5 years, I mean, yeah, we're hovering right around this 16 level. That's like the middle of November. It's also right around the time of like back in July of 2023. But what's crazy to me is that I would expect a lot more focus and a lot more engagement to be around XRP, considering how high XRP's value is compared to, let's just say, like the end of October. But again, retail is just not focused. They don't care because for the last roughly 5 months or so, we have just been chopping and selling off. Now, before I really dive on into this video, I want to take a quick pause and let you guys know that if you join the free Discord down in the description below right now, you can get access to a ton of free value. If you also join that free Discord, you could join the paid side of that Discord and get access to a ton of exclusive, valuable content. It's content from myself, from a full team of TA and also research individuals, including, of course, Tokenizer, for an example. So if you guys do want to join that, you guys are more than welcome to. Again, you don't need to. It's your choice. But with that being said, let's dive on into a few things. Number one, let's go over to this announcement. So like I said, interest around XRP, it's just not there. Retail does not care. And it's crazy because we are so close to having the SEC case completely resolved. And we have even over here from Eleanor, new, the SEC Gov and Ripple have jointly requested a Manhattan District Court to dissolve the injunction in their ongoing case and release the $125 million civil penalty held in escrow. They are proposing that $50 million be paid to the SEC with the remaining funds returned to Ripple. This motion is the latest in the broader effort to settle the case and the pending appeals and avoid further legal proceedings between the two parties. Now, again, we don't know when this is going to be completely resolved, but it feels as though we are getting very, very close. On top of this, we do have the filing argues that exceptional circumstances, including a settlement, the SEC's shift in crypto policy, and a desire to avoid further litigation justify modifying Judge Torres' final judgment. This follows her May decision where she denied a similar request for modification. Again, are we going to see anything positive from this just yet? It might be a little bit more of a wait, but with all of the positive, news coming out from the SEC, for an example, and all of the focus on the SEC's crypto policy because they completely switched it up, it does feel like we should be getting close to this resolution. Now, on top of this, is this like one of the biggest things that really kind of make or break XRP right now? I don't believe so. You got to remember that we still have a huge catalyst in front of us. Also, by the way, XRP got completely cleared. The next big catalyst that I'm actually looking at is ETFs. There was actually a big update coming from Solana Floor. We have, according to Bloomberg, Solana ETFs are moving closer to approval as the SEC has asked 3 asset managers to revise their filings to address 2 key features of the fund. Now, I don't think that it's just Solana, obviously, because, again, this is a Solana-based account, but we have how the funds will handle crypto redemptions, whether it will allow investors to earn rewards by staking the Solana tokens. But here we have new generation of crypto ETFs edge closer to reality after SEC scrutiny. This is coming from Bloomberg. Obviously, they are looking at Solana initially, but I do think that it's a full-on push around all of the ETFs. Even, when we think about XRP, right? On Polymarket, there's an 89% chance that XRP ETFs, they're saying Ripple. We already know that it's not Ripple, it's XRP. XRP ETF approved in 2025, 89% chance. Again, this is retail betting on this, so we can't take this as oh, look, it's confirmed. But we have been hearing from some very prominent names. For an example, Nate Garashi recently put out a post regarding BlackRock. Right? We have president of ETF Store, host of ETF Prime, co-founder of ETF Institute. By the way, I still fully expect BlackRock to file for spot, Solana, and XRP ETFs. As a leader in both spot Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs, it would make zero sense to cede other top crypto asset ETF categories to competitors. Related, I also fully expect BlackRock to file for index-based crypto asset ETF. Now, guys, think about this. I have stated this time and time again. Once we see BlackRock file for an ETF, it will get approved. All of them will get approved, which means anyone that has an XRP ETF filing, the second BlackRock goes to file for an XRP ETF filing, it will get pushed through and all of the other ones will follow through. Why? Why am I saying this? Look at the history. It happened with Bitcoin. It happened with Ethereum. By the way, it happened during Gensler's reign. The second BlackRock filed for a Bitcoin ETF, it got fully pushed through in January of 2023. And by the way, what's crazy about that, it was January of 2024. But what's crazy about that, is if we go back to that time, Gensler put out a post saying that they did not want to approve the Bitcoin ETF, but they had to. Why? Who was telling the SEC that they had to? It was BlackRock. So if BlackRock is filing for an ETF, it has a 99% chance of getting pushed through. That's why I'm actually focused on this. And yes, I'm taking this as a very, very serious overall opinion on these ETFs because Nate is one that's been around the ETF game for quite some time. He has a lot of experience, and I do think that this makes a lot of sense as well. It's something that I've talked about on the channel, right? We have a Bitcoin and Ethereum ETF. Why wouldn't we have XRP ETFs? It is one of the largest and one of the most, focused on digital assets from the retail side. And it has outperformed Bitcoin and Ethereum on the last year. On top of that, we did get a big update from Bloomberg ETF analyst. So from Bloomberg ETF analyst, we see a full breakdown of their odds of approval for crypto spot ETFs with baskets, index funds, Litecoin, and Solana leading the pack at 90% approval odds. So yeah, if we actually look at this, baskets and indexes, 90%, Litecoin, 90%, Solana, 90%, then XRP at 85%. I find it crazy that XRP has an 85% chance, but Litecoin and Solana have a 90% chance. Makes no sense. Dogecoin at 80%, 88 at 75%, DOT at 75%, HBAR at 80%, Avalanche at 75%, and of course Sui at 60%. So yeah, I mean, again, the market is starting to really wake up around these crypto assets. And I do think that we will start to see ETF announcements around some of these digital assets around the fall timeframe. I think that that's a perfect timeframe on when we get approval. Obviously, it could happen at any time, but I'm definitely focused on this. In fact, it's a very huge catalyst for any crypto asset. But the focus here is altcoins, right? These are altcoin ETFs. I do think that an altcoin ETF getting fully approved will be the fuel that lights the fire for alt season as well, if we're not already in alt season during that time. On top of this, let's think about how bullish XRP has been. Okay, in a previous video, I talked about all of the big announcements, right? Like USDC is now live on XRP. We also talked about, OUSG. And of course, we talked about Guggenheim with a major US investment firm tapping Ripple's XRP ledger to offer tokenized commercial paper. On top of that, we just got a $500 million treasury boost through Trident Digital, right? This is a NASDAQ listed company. It's raising up to $500 million to build one of the world's first XRP focused corporate treasuries. Launching in 2025, the initiative includes long-term XRP holdings, staking, and ecosystem integration. And also, XRP joins crypto treasury trend as Vivo Power raises $121 million to launch XRP Reserve. This was back in the end of May. And this also was followed up with, of course, Hyperscale planning to buy up $10 million in XRP by the end of 2025 for a new institutional and DeFi platform that offers XRP loans to public companies. When we think about the overall landscape here for XRP, okay, as everyone is still talking about Bitcoin, oh, it's all about Bitcoin. Everyone's talking about Bitcoin. Oh, you have to focus on Bitcoin. Even Coinbase's CEO, Brian Armstrong, is talking about Bitcoin. Everyone is focused on the wrong thing right now. And no, I don't think that it's just about XRP. It's about altcoins. Why are we still focused on Bitcoin right now? It makes no sense to. When we think about where all of the money is going next, it's going to be around altcoins. How do we know? Well, it's because of the ETFs. It's because of the ETFs. It's what a lot of these corporate companies are now doing with XRP. I mean, XRP is at like the top of the list in terms of like one of the most bullish crypto altcoins right now. And if we're thinking about, all of these companies adding XRP to either their, overall treasury or tapping into the XRP ledger to offer tokenized things of value, at the end of the day, everyone is waking up to how bullish XRP is, except for retail. Retail is completely lost right now. They're not even focused on XRP. But we are. And I think everyone should be. Because right now, XRP is so bullish. With everything ongoing, with us coming down the wire on the SEC case, I think that the rest of this year is going to be absolutely massive for XRP and for altcoins. Yeah, we might be in a little bit of a storm right now, right? We might have some bearish price action in front of us. But I want you guys to realize that we will get through this, just like every single other time. And the best part about this is that this time is not that different. But the best part is that we have all of this information to go off of to prove to ourselves and basically make us extremely confident in our investment, because XRP has a massive stack load of bullish announcements behind it, major moves happening behind it, that's really signaling a major shift, not just from the institutional side, but also the corporate side, the enterprise side. And yes, I do think that all of this is adding a lot more pressure to the ETF side of things. If I was BlackRock, I would be looking at all of these announcements and I would be saying, wow, this thing is going crazy. We need to get an ETF for XRP. So I think that it's only a matter of time until we start to see BlackRock really filing for an XRP ETF. And from that point on, I think every single XRP ETF gets approved. It's the same pattern that happened with Bitcoin and even with Ethereum. So with that being said, I hope that guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. And with that being said, guys, Nick, thanks for watching. Peace out.